So first things first, who knows what I think precedes marketing? Anyone want to guess? Just shout at me.
Research.
Research, okay, good idea, but not what I'm thinking of. Anyone else? Shout out.
Money.
Money.
Branding.
Branding, okay. We're going to stop at branding because whenever you do your marketing, you need to be thinking about your brand, okay? And if you want to be a leader in the industry, your branding is very, very important. So one of the things that I did when I started in my business was I'd use the 20 years of studying and working with other big companies and international corporations to actually, everything I studied, I was applying it in their businesses. But when I got in my business, I wasn't the face of my brand. I was just a logo. Okay, is anyone here just a logo at the minute? Okay, who's the face of their brand in this room? You show your face is on your profile. So all of you who put your hand up that own businesses, how many of you are the face of your brand? Okay, so there are a few of you that are logos then. All right, so that's fine. So what I want to say to you is if you want to step out and shine as a business owner, one of the things you might want to consider doing to lead by example and to connect more with your audience is to actually start showing your face, okay? I recently did a video on branding and why it's important that we don't look at ourselves as blue chip or big companies, because the mistake we make there is we assume people will connect with our logo, yeah? But we're not Sainsbury's, we're not Selfridges, we're not House of Fraser. We are solopreneurs in many cases or small business owners. So it's very important that you've got a brand and a visual identity, but also that you show up. Whether you like video or not, whether you're just recording your hands doing a demo, you need to be showing up. People need to see that there's a person behind your brand. Unless, of course, you are like one of these big brands here, okay? So unless you're Starbucks, Virgin, Innocent Drinks, you have a problem if you're not showing your face, okay? So my first tip is before you get into any marketing, you need to be looking at your brand and your visual identity. Not just your logo, not just your Facebook page and social media, actually how you're showing up online and offline. Everyone with me? Yeah. Okay, cool. So, marketing is the action of promoting your products and services. So if you want to be leading in your industry, you need to understand that this is really key. So you've got your business product or service, you need to understand how you're going to promote that, okay? You need to appreciate that it requires a budget. Because the other thing we'll do is we'll want to do marketing, but we haven't actually allocated a budget. We haven't actually thought about what we can do to implement marketing in our business. We need time and we need money. Yeah? How many of us are struggling at the minute for time? To organize time for social media, planning? Okay. So these are a few of the things you need to consider. Timing, your company vision and your company values, assuming that you have vision and values, okay? You need to be looking at your messaging and tactics. What is it you're saying? How is it you're going to say it? How is it you're going to connect with your ideal customers? And when I say that, I mean people that you want to buy your products and services. And not just focusing on one tactic. A lot of us fall for the trick of, oh, I've got social media, I've got website, I've got email, that's it. No, you need to actually be doing a bit more than that. In your business, you need to be looking at more tactics that you can get you out to market. So that could be a video, it could be a webinar, it could be a piece of literature that you produce, it might be an article on LinkedIn, but it needs to go beyond online, okay? So that might be exhibiting at events. As you see, you've got exhibitors here. It might be a radio interview, it could be a print advert, all right, in Faustina's magazine, right? Dirty plug there, right? And it's very important that whatever you decide to implement, if you're serious about leading, okay, you need to be measuring. You need to be measuring what you're doing. So even though I'm saying to you, check your brand, get your budget, implement, you need to be measuring as well, because the worst thing you can do, quite honestly, is to spend money and allocate a budget, and then when your campaign's finished or when you've finished your marketing activity, you don't even know what impact that budget has had. You don't know if the £5,000 that you spent on that advert has given you any return at all, because you haven't checked your website to see how many people ordered, you haven't checked your stock, yeah? You haven't checked how many phone inquiries you've had, you haven't checked your links, you've checked nothing. So it's very important, if you want to lead in the industry, you need to make monitoring a priority. Planning and monitoring is really important. Plan ahead, okay? How much time do you spend planning when you are planning? Because when I first started my business, I really struggled with that. Even though I'd been doing everyone else's plans, 15 plus years I was an employee before I started my own business. Okay, and I really struggled when I had my own business with planning. I found it really hard. I actually even found it hard, I'll be honest with you, to spend money. I didn't want to spend money. It took me nearly 2 years to invest in a business mentor. Understand your audience, who you're targeting. If you really want to lead in the industry, you need to be making sure you're connecting with people that are either like you or like you. Yeah? So a lot of us will consume ourselves with Facebook groups, okay? We'll find ourselves at events where our ideal clients aren't going to be. People that don't want to spend money on our products and services aren't going to be, but we'll show up there. Think about the budget. So if you're like Muriel and you've got a few hundred that you can spend on marketing, that's great. But if you are stuck for cash, then you should be looking at what you can realistically put in the pot. That could be £20 a month, and you could still do something with £20 a month. That could be £2,000 a month. But you need to understand that you've got a budget, okay? And also, as I said before, make sure you understand about monitoring. So your objectives, who you're targeting, what you're going to say to them, okay? So that's your messaging, all right? The tactics you're going to implement online and offline, all right? And also how you're going to measure everything you've done. Very important. If you haven't got a plan, you're just wishing, to be quite frank, okay? If you're not specific in what it is you want to achieve, how much money we want to make at the end of the month, then you're not being realistic for yourself, because you're just going to be plodding along without much of an objective. How much more time have I got left? Okay, keep going. All right. So set targets. What do you want to achieve? What do you need to achieve? And I put the second one in, what do you need to achieve? Because some of us have got bills that we have to pay. Faustina mentioned earlier about having a budget of £100 when she started her magazine. It's very similar to my story. So I was actually made redundant from my job, and I lived off of my redundancy pay for a good 3-4 months. And when it dried up, that's when I started thinking about what I'm going to do to earn money. And I had £100 when I started my business as well. Yeah, so I know what that struggle is like. I'm going to use the word struggle because it really was a struggle. But you need to understand what it is you need to achieve. What is it you need to be bringing in to pay your bills, to pay your overheads, to have a contingency, and to invest back in your business, your marketing, okay? Make sure you've got some financial and non-financial goals. And also look at the resources available, because friends and family are not always going to support you. That's the reality check, yeah? You'll probably find there'll be strangers or even people in this event today that are going to support your business and big up your brand much more than your own siblings or cousins or mother or father would. Because they don't get your drive, they don't get your ambition, they don't understand what it is you're trying to do. All right, so you need to understand what's your customer's problem, how do you fix it? And you need to be able to explain that in easy terms with no jargon so that they really get what it is you do. If you're a coach or you sell a product or service, how is your service or product going to transform someone's life or make their life easier? Maybe you save them time doing an activity. Maybe you save them money. That needs to come across, all right? Make sure you stand out by telling your story. Marketing is not about the stuff you make, it's about the stories you tell. So make sure you're connecting with people, not just by using your picture, but also by talking to people, connecting with them and actually speaking their language, okay? And also sharing your story, okay? So I've got 4 children, and when I had my first 2, I was a very young mum. I told you already my daughter's 21, so some of you will be working out the maths, right? I was a young mum, and it was really hard for me because I had a very tough relationship with my first 2 children. And I went through all that. I signed up to uni, I still worked, I did so many things, I multitasked, and this is why I got really good at project management, because being a mother, I don't know how many mums are in the room, and running a business, and running a house, and doing everything else is very tough. It's project management, yeah? And you've got to have a skill at actually understanding what it is that you do that works well for you, and this is why I say this. If you're not actually measuring, okay, and understanding what it is that works well for you, how will you know how to move forward or grow your business? If you actually want to be serious about business, there's no point continuing to use the same marketing tactics if they're not working for you, yeah? In the same way that if you're a mum at home, there's no point doing the same routine if you know every time you do it you're going to have a problem with your children moaning or something not being finished on time. So understand what works well for you and repeat that. What isn't working is fine, just tweak it. I am someone who's been able to write lots of blogs, lots of free content, one of which I shared with you earlier about the I2M saves you time. And these are things that have helped me to grow my business. So I share an article, maybe someone might want more help, maybe they might have questions. I share my knowledge on videos on my YouTube channel. I do feedback forms, I capture people's data. There's lots of ways that you can actually share free content. So you're sharing your knowledge. You're not telling them from start to end, line by line, how to do something, but you're demonstrating your unique way and style of doing what you do best. And if you're an expert in your field, why would you not want to do that? Yeah? Why would you not want to do that? So try and get into the habit. If you really want to lead, yeah, to start writing or creating videos or even just emailing someone nuggets once a month. Commit to doing that once a month. It will make a huge difference to the people that you're connecting with. People will love it. They'll start sharing it. If you're that good, and I trust that a lot of you in the room are, they will eventually tell other people and share more. And then what does that do? Builds your business. Yeah? So it's not rocket science. Marketing is something that people find a challenge because they tell themselves it's a challenge. You tell yourself it's too expensive, I can't do it, it's going to take so much time, I've got no money, no one's going to help me, I don't get it. That's what you tell yourself. Yeah? But actually, if you stay visible, you connect with the right customers, you talk their language, you plan things, yeah, you'll find it much easier. It's been a pleasure sharing, so thank you for listening.